What's your side of this?
He's not making any statements. If you want to ask me questions, you're free to do that.
You're trying to bring the guns in.
We're not answering that question. We're not answering that question. So what's happened here today, why? Because it's a criminal case. That question is going to be answered in the courtroom, just like every other criminal case. This is no different than any other criminal case. And as far as Mr. Jones is concerned, it's the social media and the media who have turned him into a thug, who have labeled him a thug, with no evidence whatsoever. This is not a situation where Mr. Jones ever wanted to be a thug or thought of as a thug. But because he's a young black man, all of a sudden he's a thug. That's what's happened here. There's no evidence of that whatsoever, and it's disrespectful to Mr. Jones and everyone else, every other black man in America who's young and black, to be called a thug because he happens to be black in this situation. This is the institutional racism that we deal with every day in the court system. There's no indication whatsoever that he was in any way disrespectful. There's no information at all that he was in any way did anything to say he wanted to be a gang member or a thug. He's a young black man charged with a crime. Therefore, he must want to be a gang member. He must want to be a thug. That label that was attached to him through social media almost got him fired, and it was completely unfounded. Mr. Jones did exactly what anyone else in his situation would have done. He cooperated with the police. He was arrested. He promised to be here. He showed up here this morning. He was polite to the police. He did nothing that would suggest that he was in any way trying to act as a thug or want to be a gang member. That's made up from social media, and that needs to stop. He's a young black man charged with a crime. Happens all the time. Let's just deal with the actual facts. And the facts of this case are that they found 2 guns in a carry-on bag that they said was his. He had no intention of bringing any guns into that Logan Airport that day. He had no intention of bringing any guns onto an airport that day. And I expect that the evidence is going to show that he had no knowledge of what was going on. Any other questions?
So then how did it happen? They're in his bag. If it wasn't the intent,
I can't answer 100 questions at a time.
If it wasn't the intent, how did this is something?
I told you I'm not going to answer that. That's a question for the jury in front of the trial.
They say the guns were inside the bag with a label that had his name on it, in his bag, in his duffel bag. So what do you say to that?
The guns were in a bag with his name on it. Exactly. That doesn't make him a thug. That doesn't make him a wannabe criminal in this case. It doesn't make him a wannabe gang member. It makes him an individual charged with a crime.
We're not
and
saying
the Commonwealth is, well, you were. Everybody was on social media.
Does it make it
There's
his bag?
To my
The
knowledge,
insinuation was they said that he brought
It's up to the
bag.
Commonwealth to prove beyond a reasonable doubt each and every element of this crime. It's up to them to do that under these circumstances and every other circumstance in every criminal case. That's what happens in a case like this. It's the speculation that is getting him in trouble right now. It's the speculation that it was something nefarious and something more than what actually the facts are in this case. The facts are what they are. You have access to the police report. You saw how helpful he was with the police. You saw how respectful he was with the police. That's not a thug. That's not a gang member. And we need to address, in this country, the institutional racism that comes with every time a black man gets arrested. That's not what this is. All Mr. Jones wants to do is play football. He doesn't want to be a distraction at all. He wants to support his family and play football. That's his goal here. But everyone turned him into this thug and this wannabe gangster with no evidence whatsoever. We're suggesting you do your research before you start writing like that. In this case, we're grateful to the Patriots organization and to the leaders of the Patriots so that they didn't believe and read in and feed into what was happening on social media, where people were saying he was a wannabe thug and he was trying to get the guns past security. Nothing could be further from the truth. That's not what happened in this case. And I suggest we wait to hear all of the evidence before people jump to a conclusion. But why was it so easy for everyone to assume that he was a thug? Because he's young and black? Why was it so easy for everyone to assume that he wanted to be a gang member? Because he's young and black? That's the problem with the institutional racism in the criminal justice system. That's been a problem for a very long time, and it's time we start discussing it and addressing it.
Have you had any communication with the Patriots or has Mr. Jones had any?
We're not going to answer that question.
What about the Patriots fans who support the Patriots?
The Patriots fans who support the Patriots, I suggest they continue to support Mr. Jones. He wants nothing more than to work, do his job, and earn a living. That's all he wants. This is an accusation. Last I checked in this country, he's presumed innocent unless and until he's proven guilty by a jury beyond a reasonable doubt. This is an accusation. Plain and simple, that's all it is.
why are we giving so much weight to what's on social media here in terms of the thug claims? That's the first I've heard, for example.
Well, you haven't read social media then.
Because there's a lot of commenting. That's just a public forum, ma'am. So why are you giving so much weight to that? and
I'm not
calling
giving
it-
any weight to it whatsoever. I didn't give any weight to it. This happened on its own. Somebody made up a rumor and it took on a life of its own. And what I'm asking everyone to question is, why was it so easy for us to believe that for the last 4 days? And the reason is he's young and black, and that's unfair. We're all set.
How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Let's go, Jack.